What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. Welcome in. We have Super Bowl 56, the Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals. This is going to be a fun one. I think it's exciting that no Patrick Mahomes, no Tom Brady. I think it's been like 4 or 5 years since we've been without one of those guys in the Super Bowl. So new blood, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, excited about that. We're going to get into some of the DraftKings sportsbook bets here. So if you guys do use DraftKings or use one of the other sportsbook, go ahead and follow along here. I did want to say too, this is purely for fun. This is technically not betting advice. I'm just opening these up and looking at them and kind of giving some opinions. So if something resonates with you and you agree with it, cool. That's what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to show some of the fun, the fun prop bets that you get along with the Super Bowl. It makes it a little bit more exciting to be a part of. So the Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals, we're going to start off with like the basic bets. Looking at this, the Rams favored to win by 4. Bengals +4 here. People are kind of taking the Rams to cover the -4 right now, more so than the Bengals to cover the +4. The total over-under is 48.5. That's kind of even. No one's really betting one way or the other there. And the money line, the Rams, if you just want to take the Rams straight up to win, that's -190 and +160 for the Bengals. So I'm not too big into betting on some of these basic spread total money line bets, but I do think it would be fun to start with some of the Super Bowl specials. Let's take a peek here. You can bet on the Super Bowl MVP. I think it's very clear if the Rams are to win, there's only a handful of guys there. I do think Stafford's probably the easy call here. That's why he's +600. But Cooper Kupp, man, if Cooper Kupp does what he's been doing all season, I mean, he was second place in MVP votes last night. So Cooper Kupp, I actually think Cooper Kupp is probably a better chance to win more than Matt Stafford. Their success is hinged upon each other. So I'm going to say Cooper Kupp's probably the better guy. But I could see Stafford doing it. But Stafford's going to need probably 3 touchdowns at least, if not more. So Kupp, Stafford, that's the Rams side. You could see Aaron Donald, but I don't know. The Bengals will struggle to protect Joe Burrow, which we'll get to here. I guess with the Bengals side, Joe Burrow, the clear guy here. If they're going to win, it's going to be because of him. But I'm going to say not so fast. I do think there is an outside chance that you're looking at some guys. It could be Jamar Chase. I'm interested to see if Jamar Chase does get the coverage from Jalen Ramsey. But I think you're looking at the keys to the game, Joe Mixon. Can the Bengals run the ball and keep the offense on track here? I actually think Joe Mixon has a really good opportunity here to lead the Bengals and potentially be the guy that keeps them on track. So I think if you're looking at the Bengals MVP odds, of course, Joe Burrow +225. You have Jamar Chase here +180. And again, I'm curious about what the game plan is going to be for Jamar Chase. Are they going to let Jalen Ramsey D him up one-on-one for most of the game, or is he just going to kind of be taking turns kind of thing? Is he going to be on T. Higgins? I actually like T. Higgins in this one as well. So those are the 4 guys: Mixon, Higgins, Chase, Burrow. Those would be the 4 guys I'd be looking at. Stafford, Kupp, Donald for the Rams. So let me see what else we got here. Position of MVP. Again, you could easily take the quarterback here. That's -300. That's probably not a bad move. You're going to get exposure to both Burrow and Stafford here. I do think receiver is interesting, though, because you kind of have 3 options, whether I guess maybe more. Like the main 3 are going to be Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. And then you can factor in some guys like Odell Beckham or Tyler Boyd, something like that. There's the running back odds for Joe Mixon. But that's kind of the Super Bowl odds bets there. It's kind of fun. But we'll keep it moving here. What's the DK promotions? Bengals to win, Joe Burrow to throw for 260+ yards, and Jamar Chase to score a touchdown. So that all seems like if the Bengals were to win, this would likely happen. And if the Rams win, Stafford over 290, Odell Beckham to score a touchdown. So both these are kind of fun if you guys are optimistic about. I think I feel better about the Burrow 260 and the Chase touchdown because the Rams are favored to win. Which means we're probably gonna see Joe Burrow have to throw the ball in the second half here. So that does make sense if they're coming to play, from behind. I could see something there. What's this BR dark horse here? Jamar Chase over 3.5 rushing yards. I don't know. How many rushing attempts has he had all season? Probably not a lot. Joe Burrow +1+ completion. So this is essentially free money. I guess you'd have to put a lot of money down on this to even make anything. I think it's kind of a joke bet. But there you go. Joe Burrow 1+ completion. Stay away from that one. But let's get into some of the more fun ones. If you guys watched our show, you can check out the link below. That's where I list all my props for the game that I'm going to pick. But touchdown bets. I think the touchdown bets are some of the easiest ones to get your money back on. So Cooper Kupp, he's going to score a touchdown. He led the league in receiving touchdowns this year. I'm going to put Cooper Kupp as a touchdown for sure in this one. I know it's minus 190, but if you're into parlays, you could take a Cooper Kupp touchdown and parlay it with another bet of yours that you feel he's going to hit. So for sure, Cooper Kupp scoring in this Super Bowl here. I like the Joe Mixon touchdown. I do like Mixon. I think if there's going to be touchdowns scored by the Bengals, the Bengals are going to probably score 2 touchdowns on this one. And I think Mixon and Chase are the top 2 guys to score those touchdowns. Higgins would be the 3rd guy here. So I'm probably going to lock in a Joe Mixon one, and then maybe one of these receiver scores. I think you got to probably roll with Jamar Chase. I do like T. Higgins there. If the Bengals score, it's one of these 3 players for me. You could see Uzama or Tyler Boyd sneak in there, but I think go with the guys that have scored the most touchdowns for this team, Mixon, Chase, and Higgins. And then the Rams. Clearly, Cooper Kupp is the guy. I think Cam Akers here is interesting. He did play well. He started to play well last weekend against the 49ers, but I still don't know if I trust it, minus 110. I was looking at the Rams stats as a whole from the season, and they only had like 10 rushing touchdowns, so it's not very good odds for a rushing touchdown to happen. You're probably looking at Stafford being the guy for this one. Tyler Higbee does have a good chance to score here, plus 230. Don't know if I love it. Sony Michel kind of taking the backseat to Cam Akers. Don't know if I love it. I think what's interesting to me, though, is Van Jefferson here at plus 245 and Odell Beckham up here at plus 120. I think the odds of Matt Stafford getting 2 touchdown passes are pretty good. Might both beat a Kupp, but otherwise you're looking at Van Jefferson and Odell Beckham to score. Now, what I think is interesting, what I discovered this season, when you see 2 players like Van Jefferson and Odell Beckham, you're going to take 2 separate side bets. Say you put a 20 piece on Van Jefferson and you put a 20 piece on Odell Beckham. You're gonna make money either way. If you want, you put a little bit more money on one or the other, but you could essentially make and cover your bets. And if both guys score, that's where you make the more money. So I do like these guys as the main touchdown scorers. If you're feeling a Joe Burrow rushing touchdown, plus 500, Matthew Stafford, plus 650 to run a touchdown in. So interesting. You do have Rams defense, Bengals defense. Kind of a fun call, 400 for the Rams, 500 for the Bengals. But let's keep it moving. I mean, if you wanted to do the first team touchdown, you guys can get into all these yourselves here, but I just kind of like calling the touchdowns for the whole game. But check those out. Let's go to the player parlays here. So this is kind of fun. This is anytime score plus the money line. So Cooper Kupp to score with the LA win. Go ahead and research some of these. I'm not too big into that, but again, that's kind of what I was talking about, where you take Cooper Kupp to score a touchdown and you pair it with another bet, whether it's the Rams to win or any other bet that you feel really good about. So that's kind of where it gets a little fun. These player parlays are interesting, but I'm into the passing props here. Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford. You got Burrow here at 273.5 passing yards, Matthew Stafford at 282.5. So far, no one's really leaning into either of these over or unders. They're both everything's at minus 115. So I would say right now that's probably fair value. If you have any good feelings on that, go ahead and do it. I think for the Bengals, if the Bengals are going to win, they got to use Joe Mixon, which is going to lower Joe Burrow's yardage total. If the Rams win, you're going to see Joe Burrow have to throw the ball a little bit more, and that could be messy. Passing touchdowns. I like both guys over 2. I think you can see that the betting crowd does as well. Minus 180 for Joe Burrow over 2 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford minus 225. So this is a good bet here. I think what could be fun is you take Matthew Stafford to throw over 1.5 touchdowns, and you pair that with the Cooper Kupp. Let me see what this does for you. If you were to parlay that and say you put $20 on both, I cannot parlay that. You cannot do. Are you trying to do? Okay, so I guess you can't same game parlay. That's fine. You can just take that separately, I suppose. But Stafford minus 1.5 or minus 225 to go over 2 touchdowns. I do like that, and I'm into Burrow. Burrow's going to get one for sure. I think the 2 is hard to say with Mixon in there. I'm going to give the Bengals at least 2 touchdowns, but for now, I think I'm going to lean both guys. I do like both quarterbacks over 2 passing touchdowns. Interceptions. I'm going to give Matthew Stafford a interception here. You can see both quarterbacks are throwing an interception based on what these people are betting. Stafford led the league. He was tied for the lead in interceptions this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. In terms of sacks, I think we'll get to there, but Joe Burrow, we'll see if he can hold on to the ball. Pass plus rushing yards. Both quarterbacks don't really run the ball, so stay away from this one. QB props. Check some of these out. You can get Joe Burrow exact passing touchdowns. If you want the 2, it's plus 210. If you want the 3, it's plus 450. I feel good about 2. And probably the same about Stafford. I feel good about him getting 2, sometimes 3. So check those out for sure. Let's keep it moving though. The rushing and the receiving overs. Now the rushing, I don't expect this game to be a huge rushing afternoon here, but Cam Akers at 64.5. Now, I do have a link here, and I can put that in the description for you guys. But this is the fantasy points allowed from the 2021 season. So let's go ahead and look here. In terms of rushing stats, the Bengals were up here. They allowed looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They allowed the 11th most points per game to the running back here. So 1,412 yards. Doing the math real quick, let me actually see how many yards per game that would be. 1,412 divided by 17. That's roughly 83 yards per game. So that could put Cam Akers at a really juicy spot there at his total. And the Rams are about 1,334 yards. And keeping that in mind, divide that by 17. That's about 78 yards per game. And they have Joe Mixon listed here at 60. So I'm personally feeling the Joe Mixon over 60.5 rushing yards. He did have a good game against the Chiefs last weekend. So keep in mind, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, that's the offense right there. Can they run it with Joe Mixon? Because if Joe Mixon's playing good, that's going to make Joe Burrow play better here. So I think there's going to be a huge emphasis on Joe Mixon in this one. I'm going to take the over on his rushing yards. Let's go ahead and look at the receiving numbers. I think Cooper Kupp over 105.5 does seem like it's probably going to happen in terms of fantasy points allowed to the wide receiver. You see the Rams. The Rams were allowing a good amount of points here. They only allowed 10 touchdowns all year, but they allowed some of the most receptions, I guess. So this is more so we're thinking about the Bengals on that side. The Bengals defense actually was pretty solid. They did allow a lot of touchdowns, but they actually fared up pretty well against receptions and yards here. So maybe not sure if I'm feeling that. I feel better about the Kupp touchdown, but he had been on fire all season. So I suppose if you're feeling it, go ahead and do it. Now the Chase yards are 77.5. I'm intrigued. T. Higgins, though, at 69.5. I kind of like, again, if you've watched my shows, I've been a T. Higgins fan for the last 1.5 or 2 years. So Higgins, I'm going to say over there. I'm not sure what the Rams are going to do with Jalen Ramsey and Jamar Chase. They might try to make sure that he is he's covered by one of their best players. So we'll see. I think T. Higgins to hit 70 makes sense here. Tyler Boyd only needs 44 yards. That feels kind of good. Van Jefferson's low at 32.5. Odell Beckham's kind of high at 64. I don't know if I trust it. I think I'd rather take an Odell Beckham touchdown. But a lot of fun here, a lot of receiving yards. Let's move it to receptions. They're probably going to have Kupp at like 8. Kupp at 8.5. Geez. So interesting. They have Jamar Chase here at 5.5, and people are taking the over on that, minus 135, which is interesting. And people are taking the under T. Higgins, under 5.5. I'm probably going to take the over on T. Higgins. If I like Higgins to hit 70 yards, he's probably going to have at least 6 catches. Tyler Boyd here is interesting, plus 4.5. Keep in mind, CJ Uzomah is likely going to play. He's got a knee issue right now. I'm not sure if he's going to be 100%. So it could be a nice Tyler Boyd game. Keep that in mind there. I do like Joe Mixon. People are slamming the over on Joe Mixon, minus 145, which is interesting. Mixon, 90.5 total yards. If I like him at 60.5, do I like him for 30 passing yards? Probably. I think I'm into that. What's the game leaders here? Most receiving yards, you could give that to Cooper Kupp. That feels pretty good. Most rushing yards, this one's Joe Mixon all day. Give me Joe Mixon, Joe Mixon, Joe Mixon. Longest reception, this is where you can have some fun. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham, Van Jefferson. One of those 5 could be the guy. Player with the most scrimmage yards, it's probably Cooper Kupp. And that's it for that one. And then you can get into some other crazy stuff like rushing attempts, longest rush, longest reception, first down. I do want to get into some of the more, so there's some game props here. You could do field goals and some drives and some more tactical things, defensive / special teams. The total sacks. I think the Bengals total sacks over 1.5. People are taking that, so they like that. The Rams are expected 3.5 sacks. People are taking the under here. I think you could see 4 sacks from Joe Burrow or of Joe Burrow in this game here. Most sacks. I think people are wise here. You got to take the Rams. I like the Rams for the most sacks. That one feels like a free money bet. We'll put that in there for sure. Let's look at the team props. Not sure I like those. I wanted to find cross sport specials, team futures from 2020 draft. Where are we? Well, I wanted to do like some of the fun ones. I'm looking for the fun ones, guys. Like where is odd even? I'm looking for like the heads tails kind of situation. Let me see where that is. Is that anywhere in here? Super Bowl specials, novelty props. Okay, so if you want the novelty props, you click on Super Bowl specials, novelty props. Any kick to hit the uprights, that one's kind of fun. People are hitting the no. Coin toss outcome, heads and tails, 50-50 odds. I'm going to say heads just because everyone goes tails. Coin toss winner. So it's at Cincinnati, Rams at Cincinnati. Wow. So I will say I'm gonna say the Bengals win the toss. Color of the Gatorade. I mean, if it's Bengals, it's gonna be orange, and if it's Rams, it's gonna be blue. If you can't tell, I'm kind of coming up Bengals here. Will there be an octopus? Probably not. I don't know. Interesting, but I think that's going to do it for today's show. That was kind of fun. You can play Super Bowl squares. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff here. So check out the DraftKings app, sportsbook app. That's what you're going to need. Make sure you're eligible in whatever state you are in. And yeah, that's going to do it. This is going to be a fun Super Bowl. I'm excited. I'm like everyone's going to be on the Rams. I am optimistic that if Joe Burrow can. If his offensive line and Joe Mixon can run the ball and keep that offense on track, they're going to have to run it and run it early. That's going to be the recipe for the Cincinnati Bengals because if they get down that pass rush, I don't really trust it. We did see them get down though against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have a pass rush, so it is very, very interesting to see what could happen. I'm going to pick the Cincinnati Bengals to win by a field goal or so. Evan McPherson, their field goal kicker, has been fantastic. The last month or so. So if you want to do some field goal bets, go ahead and do that. He's probably going to hit at least 2 field goals. So check out everything there on the Super Bowl player prop bets. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you made it this far, let me know in the comments. Comment Bengals, Rams, who's winning the Super Bowl, any other bets or predictions that you guys got. I'm curious to know. But yeah, thank you for watching and enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Peace.